Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to go over all of the palettes that I used in the month of October. And I am going to try to do this about every month, and I'm just going to review palettes that I have either done videos with, that I've played with online in some sort of fashion, or I may have just worn them on my everyday looks, just day to day. So I have ranked them from least to best, and some of these I've been trying out because I am in the process of doing a declutter, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't used that in forever. Let me try it out. Let me see if I like it, because I'm going to need to know whenever I go to do my declutter. So it is helping me to narrow down and weed out the ones that I know that there's a good possibility that I'll be removing them from my collection. I have several palettes here that I've been trying in the month of October. So if you're interested to see the ranking of all the palettes that I used in October, then just keep watching. I'm so glad you guys decided to stay. Okay, guys, let's just jump right into it, okay? So the one in the last place is the Huda
Beauty. That's what I call it, Huda Beauty.
The Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. This is just not it, guys. Oh, shoot. I'm going to try not to swatch too much, but I'm going to show you the palette. These are not only just a palette of so many light colors, because even this ends up being light on the eyes, and there's nothing to really darken it up with, but they do not stay on my eyes. They literally just disappear. And then these shades are like all over my face. And it looks beautiful here, but it does not stay on the eyes like that. And it doesn't matter if I use what eyeshadow base I use, if I use a glitter glue, none of that. If I wet my brush, I've tried it all. I was trying these out to see if I was going to declutter them or not, but I think I've made up my decision. This is in last place. That is 19th place. The next one is a Huda Beauty. It is the Naughty palette. A lot of warm tones, at least had a little bit of darkening. Still not that much. That's the only reason it made it over top of this one. I do like the color story of that one better, but I just could not pull out a look that I would like out of that palette. So I thought I'd try this one out. Same thing. It just did not stay on my eyes. It just disappeared. And I just cannot keep palettes that do that, because there is so much good eyeshadow out there that I want it to last. I want it to look the same as the time that I put it on before I walk out the door. You know, it should still look like how it did whenever I put it on, and 30 minutes later when I'm walking out the door, it should not be gone. So this one is number 18. The next one in the 17th position probably could have went up a little bit just because of the packaging, but for blendability on this one and just the overall quality of it is the NYX Beetlejuice palette. I use this in a Beetlejuice look, and even though the color story is really pretty, it also had a little bit of blending issues, didn't really, do real well. So it was down there. So there is some pretty colors in there. It's not that great a quality. So number 17. Number 16 is one that I've made, and this was part of the Beautylish boxes that I was opening up one year, and then I had this palette, and I was like, you know what? I had the loose shadows, and I wanted to create one of their palettes, and so ordered one of the palettes in like one more shade to complete it. But I had a cream blush, a regular blush, and these 4 shadows. Some of them I just got, and then there wasn't a lot to choose from, so it was a little difficult. This is just a little too. I tried it. This is a creamy shadow. It's okay. It's not that good though. It's just not. And it's just, yeah, these blushes are beautiful though. Blushes are gorgeous. So that's why it kept it up a little higher than some of the other ones. And this is in the 16th place. Now, this one may be a shocker to a lot of people, and hear me out. I'm really afraid for a lot of people out there that love neutrals. They may come at me for this one. But in 15th place is my NATASHA DENONA. This is the green-brown palette, and these are expensive. It just is not me. I mean, I've played in these and there are some that are really, I mean, I'm not saying that it's awful by any means, but the problem is that it just doesn't have enough darkening shades. This one here has some mattes, but honestly, the shimmers are not foiled, which they don't have to be, but it's not what I gravitate towards. I feel like you can't get a whole lot of different looks, even though you have a ton of shades, because I tried and it just looks the same. Don't know. Unless you just do a really light look and then you use some greens, it all ends up looking a lot alike. And even when I wore multiple shimmers, a lot of them looked alike. And it looks almost prettier in its setup than it does whenever you create looks with it. It's just very confusing for me. And it's just not, maybe it's just not me, but this one is in place 15. Now, in 14, again, now this really might send people over the edge. I may be having people just yell at me in the comment section, which is fine. Like, we can all have our preferences. It's okay. Again, it is a NATASHA DENONA, and it is the Metropolis. And everybody told me, you got to do the Metropolis. If you're going to do NATASHA DENONA, you'll love the Metropolis. You'll love it. You'll love it. You'll love it. And I do have to agree. I do like this packaging of palettes from them better. I really do. Like, this is their luxe, with the nice packaging. But I was like, let me just start using this for a while. And I didn't end up liking it as much as I thought I would. I just really don't think that NATASHA DENONA's shadows are what I tend to gravitate towards. And I don't know if it's the quality. They're beautiful. They can make beautiful looks. I really didn't feel like they stayed on my eyes that long. I really felt like they wore off pretty quickly. The shimmers are just underwhelming. Sometimes when you swatch them, they look beautiful, but then when you put them on your eyes with the mattes, they just kind of mute out in the look. And so for that, this is in 14. Place 13 is a Lanci palette. This is a fun palette, and this is only down here because they just keep getting better from here on out. I don't reach for this one that often because it is a really fun palette, but it has beautiful glitters in it. It has neons that glow, and I use this in my Beetlejuice look as well. I love this. And I do have some codes with some of these brands. I do have a code with them and it's 20% off, I believe, but it's down here because I don't necessarily reach for these neons that often, but the glitters, gorgeous. And then in 12 is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell. And that one looks a little something like this here. I really do like Lunar Beauty, but I do feel like there's been so many advanced shadows that have came out that has kind of left some brands in the dust as far as quality goes. And unless the brands step it up and improve their shimmers and their mattes and everything else, they kind of get overlooked. And for that reason, this one, I think that it's a pretty color story. There's not a lot of deepening shades in this one either. And it's very, very matte heavy. The shimmers are either satins, which I don't really care for, but there are a few shades in here that I really do enjoy. So for that reason, this one is in 12. In spot 11, we have another Lanci, and this is the Panda palette. This was fun. This is a nice little smoky palette, and it looks a little something like this here, and it is monochromatic. I'm not a monochromatic girl, but a nice little smoky eye in the look that I created with this, I really did enjoy. So for that case, that is in spot 11. And in spot number 10 is another Lanci, and in that one is the Olive Earth palette. This one is gorgeous. I love this palette. The only reason it's a little lower than some of the other ones is because it's more to the monochromatic, and I'm not a monochromatic girl, but the look I created with this, I absolutely love. And these have some shifty shades that are beautiful. This has like a blue green and it shifts to that yellow. And then this one is purple, blue, and green. And then you have like this white to gold shift. It's a very, very pretty palette, and I love olive. So for that reason, that is in spot number 10. In spot number 9 is Game Beauty, and I do have a code with them as well. This was sent to me in PR, and I love this palette. This one made a fun color story, but the only reason, because I love these shadows and I love this brand, but the only reason it's down here is because it just didn't deepen up on the outer edges. I always have to have some kind of deeper depth on the outer edges or my eye looks. I don't gravitate towards them as much. So this one has this purple, but it showed up on my eyes quite a bit lighter than it does in the pan. It does have this blue shimmer and then like this gray tone one, but they all showed up so light on my eyes. And so for that reason and that reason only, this is in spot number 9. Spot number 8 is a Nomad palette, and this is the Ghost Town USA palette. It looks a little something like this. This is a well-loved palette, and it's a beautiful palette. It has some cool tones. It has a little bit of warm tones. It has golds and silvers and rosy tones. Only reason that this is in my spot 8 is I love these cool tones. Ooh, yummy, yummy, yummy. The only reason I could think of that would bring it down is maybe like I don't use like rosy tones very often, and anyone that has like a peachy tone, it does not look good with my skin tone. So that's the only reason that this one is in spot number 8. Okay, now we are on to spot number 7. 7 belongs to a little indie brand that I found on TikTok through another creator. And I went and checked it out, and you can custom design your own palette. And what you do is she has all these shades. You pick out what shades you want and different sizes of palette that you can choose from. And then she custom designs the artwork that she puts on a sticker that goes on the top of your palette, and it also goes on the top of the box. And the box that it came in looks like this here, and it's a Debutawn sticker, and then it says Flex Beauty underneath, and she did a mermaid because if you know, you know. Then she had some blings on there. It's so cool. I highly recommend going and checking it out. It really is pretty neat little process. And then the palette is in a hard palette like this here with another sticker on it. And my palette looks like this, and it's all abstract because I used it. But I would say what I have been critical about with some of the ones that are in the lower spots, not having enough dark shades to darken up, I did the same thing. So this one here is pretty much the only dark one, but I can deepen these up with that one, so that's nice. I would have maybe wanted maybe a darker brown to do these yellows, but these are glitters up here, and oh my goodness, like you should see these. They're just, oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. They're so, so beautiful. All of these are just gorgeous. It even has a mirror in there and everything. So that is in spot number 7. In spot number 6 is my Nomad Fuji palette. And the only reason this one is here, I needed some darkening shades. I needed them. I wish this one had a dark brown because I can use this one to kind of darken up these here, but a dark brown could have helped me out with the reds and with the yellows. And that is my only critique. These blues are amazing. They're like a little bit of a shifty shade as well. I love the yellow tones in this, but it is in place number 6. In place number 5, which I cannot believe, is my Gargoyle palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. And it looks like this here. I love this color story. I love their shimmers. I love their mattes. I love everything about them. The only thing that I wish that this one had is maybe a darker green, but I'm just being picky at this point, you know, whenever I'm saying that. Their shimmers are freaking fantastic, and I love them so much. They're super high shine, foiled, beautiful gorgeousness. This is like a shifty shade, so pretty on, grungy looks. Love, love this palette. And you know, these top 5 are just, they could be a 5-way tie. I have to just find little nitpicky things because I love them. Spot number 4. Oh my goodness, you guys, this was so hard to put this in 4, but it just is. I'll let you know why. So it is the Speak Easy from Nomad Cosmetics. I've used the fire out of this palette. This is quite possibly one of my top ones out of my top 5. It is in my top 5, but it could possibly be one of my top ones. I love these rich colors here. You have a beautiful smoky purple, and you have some lavender shades. These little shifty shades are just amazing. Ugh, it's gorgeous. But the only thing I can think of is that there's maybe some other shifty shades that I may like a little bit better in some of these next ones coming up. But it's just nitpicking at this point. But this is number 4. Number 3, oh my goodness, is the Debutawn Gloomy Gardens. This is an amazing palette, you guys. It is amazing. And you know, if this is number 3, you know the other 2 have to be amazing, because this palette just so incredibly beautiful. I would just say maybe just I don't know. I don't even know if I could. You have 2 dark shades, but maybe just another dark shade, or maybe one that's a little bit darker than this. That's my only critique. These, oh my goodness, the shimmers are just yummy. They're just yummy. They're creamy. The mattes are beautiful. This is in my 3rd place. I created a look I love with this palette. It's so, so beautiful. 1 and 2 was, it had to be a tie in my brain, but there just has to be one little thing that makes me go, okay, this one gets to be number 1. But number 2 spot is Electrum Cosmetics Blood Moon palette. And if you've been here any length of time, you know that I love Electrum Cosmetics. I just, whether it's mattes or shimmers or in a palette or just singles, love it all. Oh my goodness, the Blood Moon palette is just amazing. All handmade. This velvet little number here, just the shimmers, the shifts. This is literally like forest green. I'm looking at this and it's forest green, and you guys see this. It's just the shift. This is a holographic gorgeousness. I could just do this forever and ever. Just, you guys, just gorgeous. It's number 2, but barely. It's a tie. It has to be a tie, but I know. That's cheating. We're not going to do that here. Okay, so 2nd place. Okay, at this point, this one became number 1 because you're going to see it if you know me. And as soon as you see it, you're going to go, oh, okay, that's why it's number 1. Yeah, it is the Underland palette, and it's Alice in Wonderland, and I love Alice in Wonderland. So that's what pushed it to number 1 for sure. I love this brand though, and I love their shadows as well. Yummy. Okay. And it's all things Alice in Wonderland. And come on, look at this packaging. Look at it. And you know what? I do like the shades, the mattes that are in here. The only critique I would say is that white shade. I could have lived without the white shade, but other than that, I'm going to swatch all the other ones. Look at that. Oh, enough of the darks. Oh, yes. So pretty. Love that color story. And then just keeps getting better. This is a beautiful shifty shade that goes from orange to red to green to blue to purple. It's just so, but it's a grungy. It's yummy. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite brands right here. And it's just gorgeousness. Super foiled, all the things that I love, super sparkly, all the things. All of the things. Really, really. Let me just, oh my goodness, let's just do that. You see how effortless.
Is that not serotonin for your brain? If not, I don't know if we can be friends. Just kidding. I'm teasing. We can totally be friends. We don't have to be exactly alike, but wow.
It's beautiful. It's number 1, and it's Alice in Wonderland. It's Underland, and I love it. I have a code with them too. Not in PR. This is not PR. So tell me what you guys think of how I ranked all of the palettes that I used in October. Let me know if there was something you loved that you also dislike. Let's talk about it in the comments. And let me know if there's a certain style of video that you would like to see, because I just want to create the content that you enjoy. So let me know down in the comment section if you want to see something that I haven't done before or that I have, and do it again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And until the next time, guys, I hope glitter catches your eye but doesn't go in it. Take care. Bye-bye.